Welcome to my study today. We're going to have a look at the verb need. It's a regular verb and a modal verb, and sometimes it works as an auxiliary verb, and we use it quite a lot in the negative. At the end of the video there's an exercise for you to practice. So let's get started. Version 1 of need, which is regular, means to require. I need a new suit. In other words, I require a new suit. He needs help. And the thing to notice here is that the third person he has an S because it's a regular verb. S doesn't appear, of course, in the modal verb in the third person.
Modal.
For the negative, it's regular, so in the third person we use doesn't. And for all the other subject pronouns, we use don't.
Help me.
For the question form, we use do as we do in all the other regular verbs. But here's an interesting form. Your hair needed cutting. Now what we're really saying is here, your hair needed to be cut. And so that makes it a passive structure. You can always test for a passive structure by using the preposition by after what you've just said. Your hair needed cutting by the barber. In this case it happens to be another bear. So we have a passive structure here. Your hair needed cutting. In its auxiliary form, need is followed by the infinitive to. I need to pay the bill. We can use a past structure. I didn't need to pay the bill last week. And we can use a future. I will or won't need to pay the bill tomorrow. But notice need is followed by to, and if it were a modal verb it would not be, because that would break the modal rule. The past tense is regular. We needed a plumber to fix the leak. But you have to be careful when you're using the negative, because there are two ways to do this and they have different meanings. If you're going to use an infinitive, I didn't need to tell him, really you're saying I didn't need to tell him, and I didn't because it wasn't necessary. But if you use a perfect infinitive, like this, I needn't have told him, what you're saying is, I needn't have told him, but I did, and now I realise it wasn't necessary. We'll look at this a little more closely on the next slide. The second form of need, the modal form, is used quite often in negatives and questions.
Keep quiet, please.
Also to give instructions. You needn't shout, I can hear you.
Bye.
She needn't go yet. It's an hour before the train leaves. And the important thing to note here is that there is no S on the third person and there is no to following needn't, so we are in the modal form.
What's up?
Need I answer that question? This is one way of asking a question with need, but we do prefer a different form here. Generally, I think we would say, do I have to answer that question? Must I or should I, which we can use as synonyms in this particular example. When something wasn't necessary in the past, we use the negative form of need, as we referred to on the previous slide. They needn't have come, the fire was already out. But they did. So here we're really talking about an unreal past. They needn't have come, but they did. And the other negative form, they didn't need to come, so they didn't. And that's a real past. I think here the two forms of need come together. They needn't have come, unreal past, but they did. They didn't need to come, so they didn't, which was the real past. Here's another example of that. He sent me the information, so I didn't need to email him. He sent me the information, so I needn't have emailed him. In affirmative sentences or questions where we expect a yes or positive reply, we reply slightly differently when we use need, like this. Need you go yet? Yes, I must. I don't say, yes, I need. You needn't show your passport, but I must. Again, I wouldn't say, but I need. We substitute must. And in fact, we could substitute ought to, should, or must here as synonyms. You may be wondering about this difference between must and need. Must is always stronger, and especially in the negative. Look at this. You mustn't smoke in here, it's against the law. That's fairly strong because it's forbidden. And just note as well that the must not is negating the following verb to smoke. If you use the other version, you needn't tell Mary, she doesn't need to know. That's not as strong, but the negative, need not, is negating need in this case. So, before we look at the exercises, could I ask you to subscribe below and hit that bell? 2 exercises here for you. Read the instructions carefully. The answers follow. Next time we'll have a look at used to do something. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe below and I'll see you next time. Bye.